Just got Corey here, and he's one of my clients I've been working with for many years, and he's finally pinned him down to catch up and share his story with me. So he's going to start from the beginning. How many years ago did we meet, Corey?
Met you 2010, 2011.
Yep.
While I was working over in Singapore.
Yep.
So I joined Dave, and he put me into my first deal, which was in Sydney.
Yep.
In West Sydney. So he gave me the advice to look out in West Sydney. So I found a house in Tregear.
Yeah, right.
So yeah, it was a good buy, I thought.
What did you buy it for?
243.
Yep. And how long did you own it for?
3 to 4 years.
And how much did you make on the deal?
Doubled my money.
That's fantastic.
In 3 years, so that was a good one. Thanks, Dave.
Yeah, and that was more about timing the market, wasn't it? It wasn't a great area to hold it long term. It was just about.
It was a trading property. That's sort of the strategy we went through. So I bought it knowing I was going to trade it within 3 to 5 years.
Cool. And then you came back to Queensland. So what did you want to do with the market? What were you hoping to do next with that money you made?
Do a subdivision, which I've bought a property now up in Kenmore.
Yep.
So we're just going through the process now of splitting the blocks and figuring out what we're going to put on the block. So,
right. And how much equity do you think you've made on the land of both blocks when you actually go and split that up?
A good, probably about 100 grand we're hoping aside.
Yep.
And then we're going to try and obviously get finance at the moment. It's a bit hard.
Yep.
So figuring out what we can put on there as a cash flow positive property, hopefully.
Right, yeah. And so you started to look into the cash flow kind of strategies, and I know you had a property in Labrador here that you've had for many years that wasn't performing. Yep. What did you go and do with that property?
Turn it into a rooming house.
Yeah, right. So tell me a bit more about that. How does that work?
So what we do is we rent per room.
Yeah, right.
So you have to go through council and get a 1B conversion. So I can have 4 unrelated people in the house that rent per room. So it brings up the cash flow.
And what was it renting for initially?
Rents for about 400.
And what's the rent for now that you've done this?
It's actually full at the moment, which is great. At 780, we're getting rent.
Fantastic. So you've almost doubled the rent.
Doubled the rent, yes.
Awesome. And so then I know you're actually working closely with another one of our clients, and you went down to Melbourne to look at a property. Why did you go down to Melbourne?
Yeah, we actually had leased a 9-bedroom place in Bundoora, which is in Victoria.
Was it 9 bedrooms when you took over the lease?
We went down and did a conversion as well. We had help from some people down there.
Yep.
So we went through and did the process of that, which was good to go down and do a bit of hands-on stuff, flat packing and getting all the furniture ready.
Yeah.
So yeah, Jules and I did that. So it was a learning curve. It's
yep.
a bit tough down there at the moment.
And
the house, so.
And what's the rent you expect to get? So you've invested capital to do that, like 50, 60 grand to do the conversion.
Yes.
And what's the rent? So you got to get that money back in the next 12 to 18 months. That's the goal.
18 months. Yeah, we've got a 5-year lease, and I think the rule of thumb is 12-month payback.
Yep.
But at the moment, that's not going to happen. But we are learning as we go. So thanks to the guidance of yourself as well.
And so if that kind of gets up where it's fully tenanted again, what's the kind of rent you're going to potentially get from that per year?
Oh, that would be around 80,000.
And you haven't even had to buy the property?
Yes, so we just head lease, so we take on just like a rental property.
Yeah,
and
cool.
We take on a head lease and then we re-rent it to the rooming house
Yeah.
renters.
Yeah, cool. Well, that's really in line with a lot of the kind of problems where people are facing with affordability and things as well, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah, I think probably in the next 6 months it'll kick back into gear down there.
Yep.
At the moment they're in full lockdown, so when that lifts a bit, there'll be people looking for cheap accommodation, I would think.
Cool. And so why do you have a coach? Why do you work with somebody?
Because I bounce all over the show. Every week I change my mind, so Dave here puts me in line and makes me look at the big picture, not just the short term, good ideas, I guess.
Yeah. And what are you kind of hoping to achieve with your investing overall for yourself personally?
I'd like to get cash flow.
Yep.
So I don't have to work. So if I can match the money I'm sort of making now, I'd be happy to go sit on the boat, go surfing, do stuff like that.
Mate, and then you'll be sitting out in the water all the time.
Get nothing done.
It'll just be stopping for coffees.
That's right.
Well, mate, it's been a pleasure to sit and work with you and see your family grow and still be part of the journey. So thanks for taking the time today and sharing your story.
Thank you, mate.
Thanks, mate.